Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mighty Sharp, the podcast, the Black Awareness Rally podcast. You could be rocking with anybody else in the world right now, but you are rocking with us, and for that, we do appreciate you. It's your boy Pledge, alongside my main man B,
What up? What up?
and we welcome you to the discussion. What's good with you, B?
Trying to enjoy the weekend, homie.
I hear you.
Had a chance to catch up with two of my younger sisters. We went to see an anime movie Friday. It's pretty cool. Kind of got me back in my anime bag. So after I left there, I got to the crib and just started catching up on some old joints I had on my Hulu queue. What about
I
you?
hear you. Ripping and running. My family, my parents came into town yesterday. Because I had two boys that had two games. So we had a basketball game that started at 9 o'clock and a baseball game that started at 10:30, about 30 minutes apart, in distance. So we were hustling and bustling the whole morning. But my family was there, my in-laws were there, and so it was like a nice, day for everybody, to hang out and chill. So that was it was a blessing to have everybody together.
Everybody.
Afterwards we broke bread together. So it was a nice family weekend. I enjoyed it. There was a lot going on, but it's good to have your people around celebrating positive things as opposed to getting together for you know
Yeah.
foolishness or funerals, I would say.
Right. That's pretty
Yes.
dope, man. Did everybody
Yes.
both games?
Yes, we made it to both games. Yes, we made it to both games.
That's some coordinating right there, boy. Like John
Yeah.
Woodson, you got to coordinate. How you
but
pull that
but as,
off?
but as my mom said, it's just kind of payback for what me and my brother put her through when we were growing up. So so she was like laughing the whole time, like this is what we have
Jackie.
to do with y'all.
Hey, she probably was talking mad junk too. No,
Yes. So yeah, so it was nice.
that's good to see. She's still in good rare form.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it.
That's
It's
what's up.
it's a good thing, when multiple generations can get together and come together. So I enjoyed it.
All three, huh?
Oh yeah,
That's dope.
yes.
Anybody drop 30?
Nah, not this week. He didn't drop 30 this week.
Uh,
This week he had to get some get back though. This is a team that beat him pretty handedly a few weeks ago, and so this week they actually tied, which was I guess a moral victory because of how bad they got beat a couple of weeks ago.
like
But
makeup.
yeah, but it was good to see, them kind of have the mindset of we ain't going out like that, like we did a couple of weeks ago, and him putting the work to change the outcome this time. So I was proud of him.
It's pretty dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that earlier we were talking, we were getting some feedback of some people being a little bit confused about, some of the references that we use, or maybe even the title in itself. So I know that's
Right.
something that we wanted to clear up for the listeners. So, they know that so that we're on the same page as them when it
Yeah.
comes to some of this rhetoric that we're spitting. So, I
I
know
don't
that you
think.
wanted to address that.
Hold on. So I know some people get confused about the name of the show, how to pronounce it. Just flat out pronounced mighty. Uh, like strong, real good. Then the show itself is our homage to the cult classic, the annual delight, the venerable coming to America. You know what I mean? You know
Yes.
what I mean? The only movie to be filmed in 2 weeks, two locations, and they have a cultural impact for almost 40 years. And then to have
Yes.
people request the sequel. Um, our show name comes from the name of the barbershop in the film. Uh, Pledge and I like to channel the spirits. Well, let me not say that. Like to goof off like the barbers in that scene or in those scenes and
Yes.
just shoot straight from the cuff. has some barbershop dialogue. So I know it says my hyphen T, but it's just Mighty.
Mighty Sharp. Yes.
And
Yeah.
anybody that know where Coming to America got it from, when you saw a brother or a sister, well, usually a brother in the street, and he was looking very, very well put together, you used to call him Mighty Sharp. So, you know, with anything, black people put a little spin on it, and we put Mighty Sharp. So, that's the name of the
Yes.
show, people.
Actually, if you look at, there's like a scene where they have the outside of the barbershop. It's
Yeah,
kind of in graffiti print, but it has the My T Sharp
right.
on there. So
Yeah, it's I think it's in purple, like real big on the top.
yes,
It's Eddie and Arsenio walked in, so uh, yeah, we're just gonna keep dropping that till we get the hint of it.
yeah, and so that's where a lot of our references come from. The Black Awareness Rally, which was a very big part of the movie. That's where it comes from.
Huge
And then
scene,
it featured the three things that we cover. It featured a community moment, features an entertainment moment. You
right?
had Randy Watson, What's
Randy.
Going Down project of That's My Mama. I'm saying then you had a real live skinny contest in there.
Yeah,
I'm saying that from the Hugh Hefner on high.
that was in, we actually had the scene from the what you call it engagement party last week, talking about the motivational speech he gave right when they announced it that Lisa and Daryl was getting married.
Yes.
So if anybody is wondering, that's where that come from. Y'all excuse me, man. This sinus infection just will not go away. It's taking forever. Then allergies coming next week. So
Oh, allergies already here, brother.
is that what
They
that is?
already
Maybe
here.
that's what's got me,
Yeah,
man.
man. They're already here, man.
Because the trees starting to blossom already on my street, bro.
Yes.
So yeah, y'all excuse me. I don't think we ever recorded an episode without me blowing my nose or coughing. So uh, bear with me in these allergies. I hear it's
Yeah.
supposed to be real bad up in Georgia with these allergies, bro. Like the pollen is
Oh,
serious.
yeah. It's a lot of trees up there, man.
That
A lot of
makes
trees.
a
But
lot
yeah, I
of
mean, but even to kind of take the coming to America theme a step further, I mean, the barbershop in the black man's community has always kind of been, where um, conversations like you and I are having right now, that's been the place where they've happened a lot of times. So not just coming to America, but just the barbershop talk as well
true.
has been a cornerstone in the black male community. So
Yeah, hence the graphics.
yes.
So and the promotional video.
Yes, which was filmed in a real life barbershop.
Real barbershop. Shout out to Waleed, the barber, and Max Barbershop down in Tampa for letting us use their wonderful facilities, equipped with
Yes,
all the black man needs: a vending machine, soda machine, and cable with the ultimate sports package.
and a picture of Barack Obama on the outside.
Got to have
Don't
Barack on
forget
the
that.
wall. When he
Don't
right
forget
next to
that.
Martin Luther King.
I believe so, man.
So
I believe
you
so.
know what I mean? Right there in the middle of the hood. So
Yes,
so it's legit, you know what I mean? So
no doubt.
the barbershop is definitely a big staple in the community. So
Yes.
is the hair salon for the sisters. Getting on that segue.
That's a smooth transition there, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
And
We
and and
practice.
as of filming today is March 8th, which happens to be International Women's Day. So we want to give a shout out to the ladies.
Pew, pew, pew. More fire, more fire. People still say more fire. I
I don't think
don't know
people
if
ever
people still say
said
that.
that, but I mean it is known though.
This UCF, ain't it? You trying to get hype.
Oh
Oh man.
man.
Hey, it's a lot happening in 4 years at USF, man.
Oh yes.
God, I feel like we was
Yes,
in
a
college for
lot.
20 years. All that stuff that was happening.
It seems like it.
Jesus.
It seems like it, man. But yeah, it was a good time. Which artist said that though?
What's that?
This UCF, ain't it?
Oh, I think that was the Yin Yang Twins concert.
Oh, okay.
And the hype man was trying to get out there before. Because I think Lil Scrappy opened up for
Honestly, man,
him.
there were so many different performances and concerts and things of that nature, to where they kind of just all like crumble together. It's
Yeah.
like, and I believe it was your cousin that was responsible for bringing most of those acts
Yeah.
to USF at the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but we used to have entertainment galore out there. So
Floetry, Neo,
I
Kanye
still think
West
I
coming
still think that Floetry concert was one of the best concerts I have been to in my life.
at
Like
USF.
at USF, like no doubt.
Wow.
Like, and I've seen some good concerts, but it was something about that, and they kind of did it different to where they had like tables and
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
It was dope though.
Wasn't it like they tried to play up on the R&B love theme or some junk?
I don't know what it was, man, but it was just the atmosphere was dope. And then afterwards they did like a lot of different covers after
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
concert.
That is
So
true.
it was just a real experience, I would say.
Well, shout out to the Dr. Edna Jones Miller or Edna Miller for putting that together when she was a part of the campus activities board, aka CAB.
And I mean her reaching the level of doctors kind of in part of the theme of what we're kind of celebrating today, and
Yeah.
how women, especially black women, have just kind of been doing their thing lately. And we
Kicking the door
proud of
down.
them. We just wanna give them their props for what they've been
True.
doing lately. So
Let's go ahead and run it. Let's get that Black Awareness Rally going. This week is caught a lot of information coming through the feeds. All kind of feel good. Well, not all feel good. Did have a couple bad things happen.
are you referring to Spike Lee and the New York Knicks?
What was that? What was that?
I say you're referring to Spike Lee and the New York Knicks. A couple of bad things.
Nah, that wasn't. That wasn't even the one bad thing. I was talking about the HBCU graduates loan rates, but
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
spike
I mean that's a
situation.
shame.
um, Crap. Oh, here we go. There is a elderly woman in South Carolina that has a pie business that has been open for the last 38 years, and it's been helped run by her daughter and her daughter's husband. And she and the elderly woman have been running that bakery. Well, it's a pie shop since the 60s, I believe. They made history by being like one of the first black businesses in the area. It's called Woodruff's Cafe and Pie Shop in Monroe, Virginia. Well, I was way off. In Monroe, Virginia. And it's run by Mary Woodruff and her husband James. They opened it in 1952. Jesus.
Wow, man,
So that's really huge. Um,
no doubt.
they had to shut down in '82 because they were having some financial hardships, but her daughter insisted that they open it back up in '98, and it's been going strong. If anybody wants to check them out if they're in the area, it's 3297 Elon Road, Monroe, Virginia, 24574, and you can check their website out if you want to support at Woodruff's Pie Shops.com. So that's my sounds so weird. Bikini
And I'm
contest. So
hey,
bad.
pies and bikinis. What more do you
Yeah.
need, brother?
uh, need some some shade sunglasses or something. Well, that was
Yeah,
my bikini contest winner for the week.
I hear you. Now I'm gonna for the community moment, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what you said. I know that there was this app that was created called Eat Okra, and hopefully,
Yeah.
some locations like that are listed on it. But it's basically a app that you can download that kind of knows your geographical location, and
Mhm.
it will point you in the direction of black-owned restaurants.
Okay.
So, that's big. For people who travel a lot, I tend to travel for work quite a bit, and so that's a way for me to kind of spend my dollars where they're going to be appreciated. And there's
True.
also another one called Black Nation as well, to where not only restaurants but also businesses as well. So that's my community moment is kind of giving those apps and website, um, some recognition and some promotion. So
True
I'll leave
that.
it
True
there.
that. My art moment, the Randy Watson moment, the Randy Watson experience. We've been calling it
Yes.
the Randy Watson joint in a few episodes now. I was kind of skimming through some of the older episodes and trying to, I guess, work out some logistics on these these Skype versions, but uh, and we were forgetting to do the art segment. The art segment
Yes.
this week is dedicated to the film about the life of. Yeah, here we go. I ain't prepared. The life of a banker, two black bankers who had to pretend to be chauffeurs for a white man they hired. The film is called The Banker. The film portrays the lives of, let's see here, businessman Bernard Garrett and Joe Morris. It's starring Samuel Jackson and Anthony Mackie. And
Is that the
the
one that was produced by Nia Long?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she produced that one. She's
Oh, look at
she
that.
she was the
Look at that.
executive producer of that, and then she's also acting in it as well.
I just saw her name. Let me go back and look at that because I read this article. Wow. Yeah, she's in it. It doesn't say much
Yes,
about her starring in it, but
yeah, but she was behind the scenes as well, kind of putting
that's
the story
huge.
together and things of that nature. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
it's
real big. Look at me. Look at me. International Women's Day, y'all. That's I did it on purpose. So
yes, yes,
check the banker out. Spend your dollars with Nia Long. Apple TV, I think ended up buying it from her. Once it
yes,
was made so they could distribute it. And
yeah.
it opened on Friday, March the 6th. So
And
go ahead and check that out.
just to add a little context to it, this was a situation very similar
Green Book.
to another film. No, 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 no. To where they were releasing it, and then some controversy about one of the bankers that they're portraying. I don't know if you heard
Yeah,
about this,
it's
but
family members, daughters or
yeah,
something like that.
one of it, I think one of his ex-wives came out with some allegations against him, and they Apple kind of slowed down the release of it to kind of investigate that,
Mm-hmm.
and they still decided to go ahead and move forward with the project, but that is something that did slow the project down a little bit. And for my art moment, what I'm going to bring up is Netflix. They came up with a documentary about Black women CEOs, and it's called "She Did That." And
Okay.
so, it's a lot of love right now and a lot of progression from from Black women that are making things happen. So,
But,
and it,
but, but. I know people still say that. Man, that's like a cultural thing, depending on where
yes,
you live at. Uh, man, I've been on Instagram, speaking on sisters in art and formatting. Discovered this artist on Instagram when I was reading about the Obama portraits.
hmm
I didn't know a sister made one of them. I didn't know black people made both of them. Honestly, I didn't know that.
you're talking about the Hope portrait with like the different colors and all that stuff with the
Nah,
blue,
that's the
or
that's dude by the name Shepard Fairey. He's a
okay.
fella out of New Jersey, I believe. I could be way off, but I know definitely Shepard Fairey. That's a white guy. But the two portraits that are in the National Portrait Gallery up in D.C. in the mall,
Oh,
they
okay.
I don't know if you've seen them. It's like a Obama's. I mean, Barack's portrait is of him sitting in a chair. He's kind of leaning forward with his hands clasped together on his knees, and there's like a lot of trees and bushes and flowers behind him. And then that was made by a black man, and then the one
I think they had
Michelle
him
was made
on.
by a black woman.
I think they had that brother on the Daily Show, I believe. So yeah, I'm familiar with that one with the with the him sitting down. I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah. So I just found out this week that was made by two black artists, which I don't know why I
Yes,
shouldn't be surprised, but um, I was thoroughly impressed and kind of got me excited, bro. That we
yes,
moving up. I
no
want to
doubt.
throw an extra little tidbit in there for a young lady by the name of Bisa Butler. She's an artist. It's Bisa, and she's a sister that I just discovered while looking up that same article about the Obama portraits. Um, she just got some major love in Vogue magazine for her work, her catalog, and you can check her out, man. Anybody that's into the arts, um, she just had a gallery at the Claire Olive Gallery up in Harlem, New York, on Clayton Powell Boulevard. So that's pretty big, man. Her art is pretty dope, man. If I can afford it one day, I'd like to purchase some of her work and support her some kind of way. So, uh, but yeah, she's real huge. I think her style is real dope. So that'll be my community moment. Her getting that gallery shine.
No doubt. All right. Well, I think we've run through them. So I guess we get to the major highlight or the subject that we want to cover today.
Sisters, talking to
Yes.
what's going on. No, I'm joking. It's not. uh, in respect and regards and reverence of International Women's Day, um, wouldn't be Mighty Sharp the podcast if we didn't put a spin on it and accentuate the African American experience. We have been talking at length about how to pay respects to our counterparts, and I think it would just be awesome to highlight how the rest of the world is starting to acknowledge the contributions of the African American female to our current society. We have stats, we have these wonderful things that are always been at our disposal, but it was always in. It's kind of like in house, right? It's like black people knew what was up. Anybody that was intimate with the black experience knew what was up. But now it's starting to hit the mainstream, and we're starting to get recognition for being the progenitors of pop culture, dog. So,
Yes.
uh,
And kind of like that article you shared, there's supporting data behind it. I know that
right.
the article you sent me about the buying power of black women. There, Nielsen did a study of it to study the buying power of black women, and so there's data to support, the evidence of the buying power and the impact that they have on culture. So, and also the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. So
hmm
all
hmm
that is
I
tied into it.
think they're even the fastest, no, the most educated group in the country.
Oh yes, yes,
So, yo, huge, 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 huge deal that they're starting to get props from outside the house, right? Hold on, real quick. Uh, had to hit that decline button on the homie, but yeah, man. First and foremost, it's high time because we got figures like Harriet Tubman, Madam C.J. Walker, Bethune Cookman, Mary McLeod Bethune, uh, Michelle Obama, but these seminal figures that they've been around forever, and it's just not being recognized by, again, outside the house, that these women have been the backbone in a lot of regards for what we're seeing in the media. So, um, what would it take to show an apt appreciation for how they've been contributing? Okay, we've said, oh, y'all the reason everybody likes saying Slay, or why everybody's doing twerking dances, or why everybody's buying, Michael Kors. Y'all the reason that Michael Kors is now a billionaire. What do we do after that?
I mean, I think those are surface things. Like you say,
Right.
those are things that have kind of been around for a long time when they talk about people that create a culture. But I think that if you look deeper and you look at not only are these women kind of leading in the consumer culture, but they're also leading in business. The meteoric rise that they have to the top of organizations that they work in, things of that. Those are things that are need to be more brought to the forefront than just the impact on a culture of dancing or a culture of consumerism.
Mm.
I think that we have to go a little bit deeper than what's on the surface, and I think that that's what we're starting to see now. Is that is we're not just leading in the latest dance craze; we're leading
Right.
it in the boardroom. So, which is going to make a greater impact on culture at large. So,
You think? I think you're intimate with somebody's story. Excuse me. You're intimate with somebody's story about them having to be an African American woman of power, and I am too. Uh, my mom, my mom has been uh, an example of that back home in her political activism. She's been a person that's been fighting. We just had this week of 2 weeks ago. Her birthday passed 2 weeks ago, and one of my cousins, who's Edna Miller, gave her a shout out about watching her productively struggle through the political scene down in Broward County, and how that's been motivating for her to get back engaged, in her sorority. So um, I don't think we have to look very far for examples of women that are out here fighting the good fight and
yes,
doing the thing. But I'm always wondering, what is it that we can do as anybody that's not a black woman to say, hey, we understand, because we still have situations like uh, the childbirth rate. What's it called? I forget. But when a woman's giving birth and going through the childbirth process,
they have a
African
higher
American
risk
women,
of passing
yeah,
away.
they're still passing away,
The
and we still
mortality
not
rate,
being
yeah,
heard. Yeah, we still not being respected. Um, and it's taking other voices to step in and say, hey, something's not right. We need to fix it. So I think one way we can be an advocate is to definitely use our platform. Every individual person, your social media platform, your day to day life. Try to be an example to someone that you respect, revere, and admire, and if lucky enough to love, and say, hey, how can I make your experience or your day a bit more convenient?
yes.
Because I know me personally, I seem to jive well with African American women at jobs that I have, and I usually dub the one that's a bit older than me at the job. I used to call her my work mom, and so I know we got this label out here now called the auntie,
Yes.
but a lot of people ain't feeling the auntie label.
Nah, nah,
They
they're
feel like
not.
it's kind of calling them old in a nice way, but I don't know, man. What you got? How could you?
I mean, well, I thankfully I'm married to one of the a virtuous woman. My beautiful black queen. She was one of the first academic administrators of her kind in our county, and even in the past 4 or 5 years, she's become an entrepreneur, has started her own business, which is going well for her. and I can tell that she's really in her lane, and she loves it. So being in that situation on a day-to-day basis, the best thing I can do is just support her, let her know she's loved, let her know that she's cared for.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, there's also, kind of having conversations with her. She kind of feels like, hey, I'm the first Black woman to do this. I'm the first Black woman to do that. So it's almost like a little, I don't know if it's pressure, but it's almost like, I can't mess this up because it almost creates a target a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so experiencing it firsthand on a day-to-day basis, one, it's a beautiful thing to see. I'm extremely proud of her. And, I'm just here to support and help out as much as I possibly can. So,
yeah. So what does that mean? Like, you're cooking breakfast, dinner, ironing, you know what I mean? Putting
that
boys
means
down,
that,
picking them up? Or is it different than just being a domestic aid?
it means that you pick up the slack wherever. You kind of, you don't say, oh, well, you're a woman, so you need to be doing this. You're a woman, so you need to be doing that. Don't, make sure that this gets done before you go out in there. You kind of assess the situation and you say, all right, her going out and being successful at this means a lot more to the family than, doing things around the house. So you kind of pick up slack around the house. As I said, but, God has blessed us to where it's worked out. It's worked out. We have some supportive extended family that's willing to step in whenever we need them. And as I said, it's a righteous mission. So God has blessed us, for it to be work out for, my work schedule, for her work schedule, and everything gets done and accomplished. So it's a good thing.
One thing I saw online. Are you familiar with the Gabrielle Union? I think it was like The Voice or America's Got Talent, some kind of talent show, basically. And she had a situation where she was leaving because she felt like the work environment was untenable because of discrimination, maybe some harassment, sexual harassment. And Terry Crews kind of got involved via Twitter. I don't know what his role is with the show, but apparently he worked with her on that show. And while she was speaking out about some of the slights and microaggressions and the flat out, discrimination that was going on in the workplace, he didn't lend his voice to support her. He kind of took this extremely neutral company line, was saying, "Oh, I haven't seen anything at the job, blah blah blah." But on the flip side, when he was out saying that he had been assaulted by some powerful players in Hollywood, she on the same platform, Twitter, was saying, we need the support. It's not right. Let's speak up. Let's not diminish his voice. X, Y, and Z. When he was having this issue, and so this issue came long before her workplace situation, and then Black Twitter jumped all over Terry Crews. He got slapped with this label that a lot of people get slapped with called ashy. It's like your soul is filled with ash, and that's a symbolism of something burning, having no life, or whatever. But the article, no, the video I was listening to, it's a video blog by Very Smart Brothers, was saying that the one thing Black women need from Black men is to support the same way they support us.
Yes.
And so if that be lending your voice in that situation with Terry Crews and Gabrielle Union, Terry could have came out and said, you know what, I haven't experienced that personally, but anytime somebody's saying that they've been subjected to that, it shouldn't be swept under the rug, it shouldn't be discounted, and it's a show of solidarity. Gabrielle, you had my back, I got your back in this situation.
Yeah. It was definitely a bad situation. And afterwards, he even doubled down on it, saying like the only woman that he has to kind of answer to is his wife. Like, and he was
Really?
like, as long as, yeah, like
Oh,
it
I ain't see
was,
all that.
yeah, that was, it was. I mean, even because a lot of people gave him pushback initially when he came out and made his comments,
Yeah.
and then he didn't like do anything to correct it. He was just kind of like the only person I have to be accountable to or to make happy is my wife. So it was a real bad look for Terry Crews in that situation. So
And now that I think about it, what other missteps have we seen in the media where African American men, dang, Snoop Dogg messed me up. Other other missteps that we've seen in the media where a black man could have handled his support a black woman's issue differently. And then we got Snoop's lashing out at Gayle King. That's a very prominent one that everybody weighed in on. Snoop acknowledged his faults. Snoop credits his mother with the success that he's had due to his personality and his authenticity, excuse me. But can you think of any other one, kind of like Terry Crews situation, where a brother could have took that situation and said, you know what, how can we handle that differently?
I don't. I mean, it's hard to think of a particular situation, but what I can say is I think that our overall view or overall how we view women in general and black women in particular, I think that's shifting, which is a good thing.
Okay.
I think that it's becoming. I mean, even though I mean there is still is a lot of music that kind of objectifies women, but I think that it's starting to become a little bit more of a balance, to where to where not all of the music or not all of the hip hop that we put out is out there objectifying women.
So
Um, so I do think there's a shift though in how we generally view women. So
in tow with that, since you brought up music, saw something else about feminism and black music and rap music. So black feminism, right? So
yes.
the author was talking about how Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Kim, Cardi B, City Girls, to name a popular few, Queen Latifah, have been championing the black feminist. I don't want to say it's a movement, but let's say corner or sect by showing that they can be anything they choose to be, much so like the men in hip hop. And so, in the argument, some of the ways that African American female rappers were doing it were saying, we have sex positive lyrics. Um, we bought our paper, so we're entrepreneurial, um, bold, and then we're outright living the life that we want, independent of anybody else's viewpoint in the music. And
Hmm.
so Kendrell and I often say, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, they're taking a page out of Too Short's book, which is, awesome, and out here doing the damn thing the way they see fit. Like Too Short even said, man, he for a while early on in his career, he was looking for a chick to do the same thing he was doing because he was like he didn't want it. He didn't see why a woman couldn't say the same stuff he was saying in his music. And he said he was having a hard time finding a lot of people that could get it in like him. But when he started seeing people going in the same vein, he was like, hell yeah! Like about time somebody came in and was like, this ain't a man sport. Like you should be able to get in, talk that junk just like I be doing. So is the music a thing that we can do to support? We can support. I mean, I know like if your lifestyle don't match it with the sex positive lyrics, then it definitely don't. What I mean? I'm not telling you to compromise, but let's say Queen Latifah's Unity track, and she got a line on that about a group of guys, somebody touching the button. She turned around and asked you to touch the butt. and the dude called her a B word, and she's like, "Who you calling the B?" But how can we support that? Like, do we listen to that music and not wince, or do we say, "Hey, my favorite rapper or a favorite song or one of my favorite songs at this time is the Hot Girl Summer"? Like, I personally love Big
Um,
if I
I,
may.
I think I think the one thing we can do is respect or and appreciate the fact that they have the platform. What they choose to do with the platform is up to them. But I think that that's the celebration that we can have in saying, all right, well, they have an opportunity to be and say and do whatever they feel is right. That's the victory right there.
Right.
Um,
So
I
autonomy.
think that, yeah, the autonomy and the freedom. But just like any other freedom, what you choose to do with that ultimately you will be judged on. I'm saying so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so it's almost like people talk about the First Amendment right. The right to say whatever it is you want to say, but that doesn't give you freedom from consequences. So you know I think the platform is the big victory, and I think the platform is what the thing that connects all the pieces, whether it be a female rapper or a female CEO. The platform that they have to influence other people is the thing that kind of connects it all together. I do think some platforms are a little bit more positive than others. I will say that because I don't I'm not gonna get on my soapbox about certain things um, on International Women's Day, but yeah, I do think some platforms are a little bit more positive than others. So
I do some of the stuff that the women are talking about in some of these songs, they're just as bad as the stuff dudes talk about in their music, right? And that's
yes,
completely fair. For anybody that's not completely aware, the original intent of feminism was just equality between the genders or between men and women. And
yeah,
the goal was to, in all ways, be equal and fair. Because there's a difference between fair and equal. But
yes,
if a chick is doing more work than a man or is in a higher position, she should be paid fairly. But if a man and a woman are doing the exact same job, then they should be paid equally. So that out of the way. But there's a Teleflora blog. It's obviously about flowers. But there are some hashtags that you could use in your support of women. There are companies showing love by discounting flowers that you could send to women on this wonderful day. Unfortunately, the only person I have to send flowers to is my mama. But you know, mama does love flowers. I
yes,
guess I can send them to my sister. But if you out there, man, it's also saying support female talent, and it's saying add some books by fabulous female authors. Uh, support them by going to see music. Like one group of women, here's an example of that. I want to support really badly was Two Dope Queens, and it was these two young sisters that had a podcast like ours, but on the podcast they would promote comedians, and so they would have their segments, and then they would dedicate maybe like 15 minutes of the show to stand up by these different comedians. And so it got a lot of acclaim and ended up making it on HBO. And I wanted to support
yes,
them by going to a live show because they record everything live. And they was having studio auditions or whatever. So I wanted to kind of check it out at King's Theater. But man, I couldn't get a ticket to save my life, and I couldn't get into contact with anybody to figure out how to get it done. But I think one thing I definitely think people could do is let them tell their story and you respect it, and then ask if they don't state it how you can support them because
sure,
the voices are out there, the platforms are going. Um, for example, Still Processing is a podcast that I listen to a lot. It's led by two African Americans, two dope queens, it's two African American females. Um, these are some lesser known entities. I mean, you got like Issa Rae and everybody, but it's a lot of people out here putting in work that could use the appreciation because they take the craft very seriously.
What
So
is what is it called? The Black Women Sketch Show on HBO as well.
yeah, that's actually,
Yeah.
and if you're in the comedy, that's just a good show. Period.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's pretty doggone funny. Um, and it's run by the light skinned girl. I think her name is Tiffany. Um, I think her name is Tiffany. It is Tiffany, but she got like a interesting last name that people mess up.
Yeah, that's the one. She also had a show on BET for a minute.
Yeah, she's been in the game for a minute. She just couldn't get the success that she's got going on now. Robin Thede, that was way off. Yeah, her name is Robin Thede or Robin Thede, but it's
Robin
produced
Thede,
by
yeah.
her and Issa Rae. Yeah, and the crazy thing about that is all the writers are women, the executives are women, the
Yes,
director women. Support it, watch it, give the ratings up. Uh, every episode ain't you know double over funny, but I would say like 9 out of 10, I'm in there like just losing it. Uh, listen to them.
yes. Like you
How
say, I mean, I mean, support is different for different people. So, like you say, you kind of have to say, hey, how would you like to be supported?
right?
So I think, like you're saying, once they say, listen to them. So
Uh, there's a ton of stats out there, man. I could run through again. Um, like we mentioned earlier, like the deaths during childbirth, the lopsided lives that women of color lead compared to their contemporaries, even when they have the exact same professional and financial profile. Uh, the experiences are really different, and that's because the voices are being stifled oftentimes. The experience is completely different because they're experiencing the discrimination that very few people have knowledge of or experience with. And a lot of times it just takes you saying, I agree with you. How can I help? Or standing in solidarity with them when they're trying to speak up.
definitely,
How hard is that? So, uh, yeah. Where else can we support? I think it's important people do more work to support smaller figures. And by that I mean, we love Beyonce, we love Rihanna, we love Oprah, we love Michelle Obama, we love Ava DuVernay. You know, these are all very prominent figures, but there is somebody in our community or your community that you could look up with the Okra app or Shop Black.
yes,
They could definitely let us know places that we can go and support. There was a bookstore in Temple Terrace back in Tampa that was owned by an African American woman that I don't think they open anymore, but that was a big deal. There are, I mean, I'm in Atlanta. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff. Like Old Lady
yes,
Gang, it's a restaurant that's owned by like a celebrity, but supporting it wouldn't hurt. Uh, that's the charge.
yes.
That's the charge. Ask somebody how you can support them. What's their plight? Support a African American female-owned establishment this week. For example, there was the Honey Pot. You heard about that? The Honey Pot, Harriet
Yes,
Carolina.
yes. Well, it's actually a women's feminine hygiene line
Okay,
that
okay, okay.
she actually did an interview to kind of talk about a lot of the backlash that she got about her commercial. I don't know if Target was highlighting the commercial because it was Black History Month or what, but she did shoot a commercial for Target that was played quite regularly because I saw it probably several times.
Yeah.
Where she was talking about her line and how it was in Target and how, it was important for her to inspire young Black women, and often that struck a nerve with a lot of people. To
How
where,
you get mad? I saw a lot of the backlash comments, and people was like, well, what if I want to support and I'm not a Black woman? Can I not buy your stuff? I think it's messed up that you're excluding me. Um, just a
yeah,
lot of silliness, right?
and there, I
And
mean, people were talking about like how, like, one comment like just went crazy talking about, oh well, maybe, talking about the number of Black men who rape white women per year. I don't know if you saw that one,
no,
but it was literally a comment to where it was like, maybe you need to stop your Black men for raping however many white women per year. I mean, people would just like use that as an opportunity to, however they felt about Black people,
just to be
to
racist.
like just
He's
sound
like,
it off.
oh, they
And then
started it. I'm gonna finish it.
it's like they tried to like give her a whole bunch of bad reviews. So it's
Yeah,
not
I remember
only
that.
that they
Remember
were
that.
they mad at her, they were literally trying to kill her business.
Yeah.
And
So
who stepped to the rescue?
everybody and Black women,
Everybody. Black women, yes.
Black women specifically. I think our
Yeah,
sales like doubled like within the next week because
yes.
people supporting online. But this takes me back to the conversation we were having last week about was that last week? I think it was last week when we were talking about the interview, the discussion Candace Owens was having with Cornel West and talking about how the plight of the African American is no longer affected by the white man. And then here we have, in direct opposition to that statement, real live white people flat out saying, I'm mad because you said it's for Black girls. I'm mad
Yes.
because you're trying to be a good example for Black girls.
And she's a Black girl.
Like,
I'm mad because you want people like you to succeed. Come
yeah,
on, man.
like that's the name of y'all game. Like y'all entire way of life is still and handed down, and then hope your kids maintain it, and then they keep passing it down as if they built the legacy. That's somebody else stole it, right? So we got all of these different examples of like the article me and you shared by HBCU grads having these unfair loans and interest rates handed down to them because they went to a Black school.
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy, man.
Like when you finally want to step up. So this is how I agree with Candace Owens. And I'm gonna say this: if we ain't doing nothing, if we just land on our behind figuratively, or sitting and chilling and not trying to be ambitious about much of anything outside of working for somebody without a degree, white people probably won't bother you. Probably won't
But as soon as
be
you
in your
start
face.
trying to make something happen, though,
As soon as you trying to come up and do something entrepreneurial or get in a position of leadership in a corporation, you finna start running into all the different ways that they try to discriminate. Uh, One of the most popular ones would be by red tape. They will red tape and nickel and dime you. They call it by the book. All these little bylaws and procedures that they have to kind of keep people in order and performing well at the job. They'll start to nick and ding you with that and say your performance is out of line. That's how I ended up losing that job last year. But uh, I did my part with that example of the honeypot sales. I didn't have any use for any of the products, but I was sure to the very least share on Facebook. And I know two people were informed by it. If I did my job, one person was informed. So
definitely.
I don't know, bro. Just think it's sad. Some people still think racism is like dead and gone. Like we don't have to deal with it no more.
I think there's a difference between acknowledging that racism exists and using it as an excuse not to do anything. And
Yeah.
so I think that we can't let it even though we know it exists, we can't let it be a hindrance
Right.
to get. I mean, it could be an obstacle, but it can't be a hindrance. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So I think that is has to be kind of the mindset or the approach of how you want to attack it.
Are researchers of the obstacles wrong for saying these are the obstacles and pitfalls that we've had to deal with up to this date? Wrong for highlighting it as a way to avoid those same pitfalls in the future?
No.
No. All right, well, Candace Owens, you heard it. You can say racism might not be stopping you from doing that, which might be true, but the show is making it a lot harder. So, yeah, man. Probably gonna try to catch this LeBron Clippers game in a few.
I see you
LeBron.
got your gold on. I see you got your gold shirt on, so I know who you're
Nah,
rooting
man.
for.
This
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Is that a
this
purple horse as well?
nah. This is actually white. This yellow light that I got, it's making the shirt look gold.
That's what we call a lie in in everyday society.
I didn't even notice I was wearing it.
A not so closeted Laker fan. It's all good though.
Nah, man. Look, I ain't got no problem supporting LeBron at this junction in his career.
Yes.
He's not win it this year. I kind of want to see Kawhi get a ring first.
I mean, as if Kawhi doesn't have one. I mean,
Nah, so here's the thing. I want to see both of them get a ring with 3 different teams because I feel like they'll be the first people to do that or something. But I think Kawhi got to get it done before LeBron because LeBron's got this legacy that's cemented and it ain't going nowhere.
LeBron, his chances are running out. So LeBron, he may have next year, this year, next year, and maybe the year after that. Kawhi probably have 5, 6, 7 more years. So while this window of opportunity is open, let LeBron go ahead and get his.
I don't think LeBron needs any more rings, bro.
He doesn't need any more, but it'd be nice to see him.
3 now, right?
3, yes. And as much as we watch him play basketball, it's hard to believe that he only has 3 because we've seen LeBron play a lot of basketball.
It's just it ain't working out for some reason, man. Them schemes don't work. But I was going to say something about his legacy, and that just drew a blank. Dang it, can't remember now. Can't remember that. Oh, you know what? Here's another thing we could do to support. I don't know. Would this be a support? Lena Waithe was in this new movie by Disney called Onward, and her character in the film, it's a cartoon. Her character in the film is a homosexual police officer, and so some countries around the world have banned it from being shown because of the homosexual nature of the character. Is there anything we can do to support that?
Go see the movie.
Did she get money from that? Or do we go on Twitter or something and say, hey, Lena, that's messed up. I ain't seen the movie, but I just want to let you know that's messed up. Would that be good enough?
That's messed up. What? That
other countries wouldn't let her, wouldn't show the movie because she was a homosexual.
I mean, it is messed up because I think that people, like, the thing is that people don't know what how stuff is, like, the people who deliver everything to them. Like, people don't know whether it's like, say you go to like, I heard this example, say you go to a restaurant or whatever, right? You don't know if the person in the back cooking your food, you don't know if it's a homosexual, but you still eat the food though. You don't know the race of the person, you don't know the sexuality of it, you know any of that, but you still eat the food. So I think it's different when people have something delivered to them and then they know all of a sudden, as if it changes what they've been receiving for a long time. Like people might have been a fan of the show that she produced, The Shy,
Right.
but then they find out, a homosexual woman's behind the show. Is the show now garbage now because a homosexual woman is that? Even though you've been enjoying the show for a long time. So I think that's the thing, is that people have to kind of, when, like the example that one of the commentators that I listen to a lot or whatever, he was like, if you're in an emergency medical situation and you show up to the doctor to the hospital, you don't care what your doctor is, you don't care his race, you don't care his nationality, you just want the best doctor possible.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of times with art is that's the one thing where people is like, oh no, the person who built the art is also subjective as well. In if I will enjoy the art, because whatever they do is going to influence how it turns out. You know what I'm saying? Who they are is going to influence how their artwork turns out. So I think it's crazy, but I also think that's why, I'm pretty sure that's why they put that character in there, to kind of, one, address, maybe some of the national or the international feelings around a character as such, and to two, to kind of introduce people to that, so people kind of warm up to it or get more comfortable with the idea. So I don't think it was a coincidence that there was a homosexual cop in there. I think that they're like, this is a story that needs to be told. And, while it might turn some people off in the beginning, it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Still needs to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lena, you getting them dollars. You're getting your name spreading far and wide now. I think she even got a production company deal with her and Common, I believe, where they get to make all types of film productions, television productions, like some kind of deal where they just get to produce any and everything for TV. So I thought that was pretty hot to hear. That's like a year ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Who you got today? You think the Lakers gonna finally start playing to try to win? I feel like they've been trying to play possum these first two games.
I mean, as I said, I want to see the Lakers win. I would say that for the finals, for the Western Conference Finals, if I had to put my money on it, I would put it on the Clippers, even though I want to see the Lakers win. That's where I'm at right now.
You think the Clippers would take the Lakers in 7?
Yeah, I think they just have a little bit more offensive firepower. Even though I was impressed with what the Lakers did to Giannis in the Milwaukee Bucks the other night. But I just think that the Clippers, once they have their full team and they decide that they're going to play, that they'll are a little bit better than the Lakers right now.
Sure. Still think Giannis is overrated, but it's whatever. The wins are the wins.
I hope LeBron's able to steal that MVP from him, but I think if you look at the numbers, Giannis is probably a little bit better number-wise, but I think LeBron's a better story. So
it's because it's like James Harden numbers. They don't mean nothing. Like James Harden had a quadruple-double last night.
He did?
Yeah, but...
What was the fourth one? Turnovers?
Yep. But see how people spin it? Oh, he the first person to have a quadruple-double since David Robinson. But they lost, and the fourth category was turnovers.
It was turnovers, yes.
Yeah, so I don't be impressed by that. I need to see these playoff wins. That's what I'd be looking at.
Sure.
So, but anyway, more power to them. But yeah, man, it's about that time. They're going to start hooping in about 10 minutes. So,
for sure.
I'm going to try to get there and get on it. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man. That's it. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. And I know we've been putting them out a little bit more regularly. So, any feedback or what y'all want to hear, what y'all want to hear us talk about, or what y'all want to see, just let us know. And we'll try to make that a part of the program.
All right, good people. We out.
Peace.